Welcome to the Disturbance, hosted by Dave DeVaugh.
Coming up on The Disturbance, we take a quick look at the Dallas Cowboy come-from-behind victory against the Atlanta Falcons at home as a Greg Zuerlein field goal wins the game for the Cowboys 40-39. So much to cover in this game that I thought it was time for a special Sunday edition of The Disturbance. Now, I'm Dave DeVaugh. This is The Disturbance. If this is the first time you're watching one of our podcasts / vlogs, please go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. Now, I want to start off this by talking about Todd Gurley for just a second, because Todd Gurley gave the Atlanta Falcons everything that I said Todd Gurley was going to give the Atlanta Falcons. Now, no, look, I know all the other reviews of this game and all the other recaps of this game. Nobody's going to start with Todd Gurley, but I am, because if Todd Gurley was half the running back that he was in previous years, the Atlanta Falcons would have been able to actually run this game out, and Dan Quinn could have been allowed to hop back on the charter flight from Dallas back to Atlanta. Like, I wonder if Arthur Blank, after witnessing this in person, is going to allow Dan Quinn to get back on the plane. 40-39 was the final. The point about Todd Gurley is 2.9. 2.9 yards per carry, 21 attempts for 61 yards. Anyways, so Dallas came back in this game. They were down early, as we all know. They were down by 20 in the first quarter, and they were basically down throughout the entire game. Now, as things got a little bit interesting towards the end of the game, Dallas never really seemed to give up. Dak Prescott had 450 yards through the air. 450 yards through the air with just one touchdown pass. But Dak Prescott, the running back, had 3 touchdowns. He carried the ball 5 times for 18 yards. Yes, and that is 3.6 yards a carry. That is 7 yards more a carry than Todd Gurley did for the Atlanta Falcons. Zeke had a pretty good game as well, and he rushed for 89 yards and 1 touchdown. Look, Dak Prescott was phenomenal today in this football game, and his set of wide receivers are really, I think they have maybe the best 4 wide receivers on a football team that any football team has in the National Football League this year. Just taking a look at the rookie CeeDee Lamb, 106 yards receiving today. Amari Cooper, we all know who Amari Cooper is. 100 yards receiving today. Dalton Schultz, you're like, who the hell is that? 88 yards and a touchdown. And then, of course, Michael Gallup, who is basically a number 1 wide receiver on any other team in the National Football League. He had 2 receptions and 1 really big reception towards the end of the game for 58 yards. Now, I will say this about today's football game. The one thing I really admired, if you will, about the Dallas Cowboys today is that they didn't fold. They didn't give up, and they kept sort of coming. Now, they scored a touchdown sort of late in the game, and then Greg Zuerlein actually pulled off an onside kick. I would love to see the National Football League make onside kicks again a little easier for teams to actually pull them off. That being said, he pulled off some sort of rugby football style kick where he spun the ball around. It went 10 yards. It kept spinning in circles. It went 10 yards. And he didn't even put it up on a tee. So Greg Zuerlein did that. Dallas recovered. Then they methodically drove the ball down the field in the last minute and a half of the game, and then handed the ball over again to Greg Zuerlein for a 45-yard fade field goal from left to right. it went down the middle of the pike. The Cowboys certainly had themselves a hell of a football game. Now, on the Atlanta side of the fence, this is a strong offense. If you've listened to any of the podcasts over the last 6 months, you know how I feel about Todd Gurley. But the rest of this offense is really potent. And it's not that I don't like Todd Gurley. He's just not who he used to be. And for Atlanta to think that he was sort of a mistake on their part. And that showed up towards the end of the game because they were unable to get any real yards to actually run the clock out in this particular football game. Look, Calvin Ridley is amazing. He's amazing. 7 receptions today for Calvin and 2 touchdowns on 109 yards receiving. Now, look, if you're a Cowboy fan, you have to be unbelievably excited about this. First of all, Jason Garrett can't figure out how to get a touchdown at the end of the New York Giants football game for the Giants, who lose in Chicago by 4 points. So you have that going for you on this Sunday. And then on top of it, you get your new head coach, Mike McCarthy, to basically allow the engineering of a comeback. Look, a lot of National Football League teams, especially early in the season, when they fall behind, they start to just basically give up on the game, and they start to test things out for other games. The Cowboys did not do that. They stayed the course. They kept fighting all the way to the very end. And just a big congrats to look, it's not like I'm a Cowboys fan, but this was a hell of a game. And if you watched it from start to finish, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about how this Cowboy team did not give up. And I'm telling you right now, if Jason Garrett had still been the head coach of this game, you guys in Dallas would have lost by at least 22 points. Okay. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to the big special weekend edition of The Disturbance. For The Disturbance, I am Dave DeBaugh, reminding you that for more semi-witty sports commentary, make sure you check out our big website at mighty.rip.
The Disturbance is a production of the Mighty Rip Podcast Network. Okay, go ahead and properly kill the music now.